All right, welcome back, Bears fans. Bear down as always, and sorry I'm getting this one out to you so late. Today was just a crazy busy day with my own job and everything going on and being on the Windy City. If you haven't seen that one, I'll put a little link in here. I was on the Windy City Breeze today. Great guys, really good conversation, even off the screen before the show started. Really enjoyed that. It was a lot of fun. If you haven't seen it, I'll put a link in the description of the video. But this one, I'm going to go into Jonathan Owens. Really solid signing, in my opinion. I'm going to show why. But I'm also going to bring up the Sport Track value of our salary cap right now. A lot of people don't understand it. So I'm going to break it down so you can see exactly where we're at right now, because a couple people I've gone on with, I've said there's only about $22 million left. And people are like, that's not true. We see the numbers, $58 million. I'm going to explain it to you in this video. So stay tuned through the whole thing because there's a lot of meat and potatoes in it. But let's try to get through this as fast as I can. This is not a starter signing. This is a stacked safety room now, though. We finally have depth. We have depth. And we even have depth at cornerback still, because Terrell Owens is a very solid fill-in if either of our starters get hurt. If Jalen Johnson or Tyreek Stevenson go down, Terrell Owens is a solid backup cornerback. We have depth beyond that, too. And then in the safety room, we have seriously, I think these 5 are going to go into the season. We have 6 or 7 now total if you look at the depth chart. All right, I stand corrected. 8, because Jonathan Owens, look up top right. He's not on this list yet, but between all these guys, we have a very deep safety room. They're not all going to make the squad, obviously, and some of them will be practice squad guys like Adrian Colbert, maybe even Jalen Jones, Douglas Coleman. I mean, man, we're in a good position when it comes to this. I like how deep we are. So here's Jonathan Owens, 73rd out of 96 ranked safety this last year. He plays a lot between strong safety and free safety. There's an advantage to him. I do see him as our primary backup, and I do think he'll get a lot of time. So obviously, Kevin Bayard and Jaquan Brisker will be starters. Jonathan Owens, though, is going to get some rotations quite a bit. I don't see Elijah Hicks even being on the team, in my opinion. This is my opinion. There's nothing official on that. I just don't see him being worth keeping at this point with the lack of tackling, with his bad coverage. He's just not quality. He's just been out of necessity, a late round pick that we had to have, as we were talking about in the beginning years of 21, 22, with having to rebuild this team. We're past that point. So I see him being released eventually. But, you know, iron sharpens iron. Let him come in and compete. We'll see how it goes. But look over there on tackles and missed tackles. That's what that T/M stands for. Jonathan Owens, another tackler. I love that we're stacking this room with tacklers. Jaquan Brisker, 80 tackles, 10 missed tackles. Jonathan Owens, 54-7. Kevin Bayard, 88-6. All 3 of these guys are good tacklers. I like that. Very solid. I'll leave that up for a second. You can pause it if you want. That's just basically the top 5 in the room right now for us. And then let's go. Here's our depth chart again, where we've said our weaknesses are. Eddie Jackson's gone. I'm not updating this yet, but you can see that yellow was a need. Now that yellow is filled with solid green and light green. So we've got depth. I love it. All right, here's the meat and potatoes on Jonathan Owens. If you look on the far right first, these are the weeks where he got, so this is straight from PFF. So there's the week number, there's the team they played, the position, and whether they started or part-time, just what that means. So they rotated in. So the P is just part-time. He started the second half of the year. He's got actually quite a bit of starting in his career for having been an undrafted free agent. This will be his 5th season now. But look how he rotates between free safety and strong safety. And if you look at the bottom here, this is from PFF, how many snaps he played. On the far right is how many snaps he played. Slot corner, strong safety, nickel. You know, you can call it what you want in different schemes. But free safety, 354. So primarily free safety, really just solid depth overall, though. But in the middle there, his tackling is elite. You see the green, a little bit of orange, a little bit of yellow, no red anymore. And from last year from 2 years ago to last year, really no orange. You like to see those 60 and above numbers for a backup. And this is an elite backup. So I give it an A+ grade. 28 years old, 2 years, $4.5 million. That's only $2.25 million annual. For a backup of this caliber, I give that an A+. I think this is a value signing. I think it's just really smart by Ryan Poles. All right, so let's go to Sport Track. I'm going to explain this to you guys. This is the meat and potatoes you want to know about. The complicated stuff that's a little bit more to understand. So The top part there is just the very bottom of all the contracts. If you scrolled up above this, it would be all the guys that we have on the team right now under contract. And you see some of them at the bottom, Kevin Byard and Gerald Everett, aren't on there yet because the contracts aren't released yet of all the details of them. This also includes Jonathan Owens. He's not on here at all because this is right when the news broke. Okay? The ones that have a dash, you see how the dollar signs are dashed out, slash, 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 slash? That's because they're not a top 51 contract. On the bottom right here, you see the blue box. I'm showing the top 51 highlight or contracts. So look above it. There's our 2024 salary cap. There's the rollover cap we get to keep. The adjusted salary cap, $260 for the Bears. Okay? You take that number and you go with the top 51. So the dead money has to be included in there. So top 51 is 191. Dead money, $10,543,000. That's Eddie Jackson, Cody Whitehair. That's $201 million. That's how this is calculated. Okay? So that 201 from the 260 is $58 million. So with these new signings, look at the top here. That's scrolling a little bit higher. You can see the ones that are next out. These are the ones that are at the bottom of the top 51 contracts. So when you take those, you have to subtract those because these contracts are more valuable. Doesn't mean these guys are off the team. Quindale Johnson's on the team. Doug Kramer's on the team as of right now, but they're not a top 51 contract, so those are X'd out. They're not considered part of the top 51 contracts. Well, now Tyson Bagents, Micah Baskerville, Daniel Hardy aren't top 51 contracts. Okay? So look at Kevin Byard, the first one, $7,500,000. We're just guessing that it's going to be a flat, even contract between those 2 years. Okay, so $7,500,000. You subtract that $915 away from it, and I know this is complicated stuff. Skip over if you don't want to learn this stuff, guys. But it's the meat and potatoes of understanding sport track salary caps where we sit right now, and that's the reason I'm doing it. Minus the $915, that's going to be another $6,585,000 on the hit. Same with Gerald Everett. Subtract the other one, then you get up into Tyson Bagents with Jonathan Owens. That's the difference of including those on the top 51 and not including the other. Okay, so top right, you'll see that's about $13 million difference that hasn't been allocated yet to Sport Track. So when you take that into consideration, that $58 million, $59 million, we're going to say 59 because it's real close to 59. That $13 million difference on those three contracts plus $15 million for the rookie contracts, it's going to be $15 million. If we do trade down at all, it's going to add another million to it by adding the extra players from the second round. Okay, so 13, 15, that's 28. So that's going to put us right there at 31. $8 to $10 million buffer. That leaves us right around $22 million left in free agency. That's why I'm using that number, guys. When I say we have about $22 million left, that's what I'm referring to. So little breakdown there of Sport Track, of the salary cap, of how that works and how contracts are allocated. Just because they say $58,683,000 doesn't mean everything's on there yet. You see Kevin Byard and Gerald Everett, Jonathan Owens, they aren't calculated into that yet. So you have to take those things into consideration just if you want to understand where salary cap is and where we are in this offseason. We've got roughly $22 million left to spend. All right, last thing with the Jonathan Owens signing, his wife is Simone Biles. I'm sure all of you have heard that by now and learned that. Olympic gymnast, Olympic champion gymnast, and I just thought it was neat how excited she got for him to be coming to Chicago. Here's just right after, I mean, this is 2-3 hours ago, right after. So incredibly proud of my husband. The grind never stops. And then she retweeted how he appreciated Packer Nation. Thanks for welcoming us. Also, I love the city of Chicago. Chicago, here he comes. So excited about having connecting flights. Pizza and hot dogs. F yeah. So I just think it's fun. We've got our own Taylor Swift, guys. She's fun, she's exciting, and as far as I know, she's a great personality and a great person. So fun to have that here in Chicago. It'll be exciting. I don't think they'll be panning to her 15 times through the game like they do Taylor Swift, thank heavens. But if they show her once a game, it's kind of fun just to be able to have a little more notoriety, bring some more attention to the game with other aspects, with people who might be into gymnastics or the Olympics. So anyways, great signing overall. I really, A+, love this signing. Great addition to the team. Depth is what we need in every area of the team if we want to be Super Bowl contenders. So this is awesome to me. With that, hope you guys have a great night. Day 2 of free agency is almost over. As soon as I say that, something's going to happen. But it's almost over, so bear down.